listen, she's a beautiful young lady. And there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on. It's not going to work with people. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to work. And when you do stuff like that and you're drawing attention to yourself because of that, that can be problematic for you.
Picture this. It's New Year's Eve.
Here's the part that I like about the backlash. Clearly, it's something that a lot of people can't take. So if it's something that you can't take, maybe you shouldn't expose yourself to the backlash and provoking the backlash.
One wild moment on social media tank a rising star's career? Picture this. It's New Year's Eve 2025, and Angel Reese, the Chicago Sky's rebounding queen, drops a video that sends the internet into a frenzy. But instead of ringing in the new year with cheers, she's met with a tidal wave of backlash that forces her to vanish from the online world. What went down, and why does it feel like the stakes just got a whole lot higher for this 22-year-old phenom? Buckle up, this is a story you won't see coming.
My daughters are fully aware. Daddy had better damn well not see an outfit like that on social media. Now, I ain't judging Angel Reese. Live your life. I'm talking about my daughters.
Right.
I promise you. I better not see that. Hey, they could be in college in LA, in Boston, or anywhere in between. Daddy would drop the mic, hop in the car, on the plane, or wherever. That ain't gonna happen. You said, I'm not having it. That's me.
It all started with a single post. As the clock ticked toward midnight, Reese strutted onto Instagram in a dress that barely qualified as clothing. Think less fabric than a napkin, and poses that screamed, "Look at me." She probably thought she'd own the night, maybe even break the internet with her boldness. Fans had seen her flex her style before, but this was next level. The video racked up views faster than a fast break, and for a hot minute, it seemed like she'd pulled off the ultimate New Year's flex, but that high didn't last long.
Yes, you are 22. Yes, you are young. And there's a lot of things that we didn't want people to know about when we were her age. Fair enough, especially me, okay? Because I'm 30 plus years removed from that age. I got that part. There was no social media then or whatever. But here's my point to you. She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant young lady. She's very smart, very accomplished. And on top of it all, she is in this age where she does know social media exists, and she has exploited it to her advantage. And so when you take that,
the reaction hit like a storm. Comments flooded in, and they weren't pretty. "What is this?" one fan typed. "You're better than this," another chimed in. Even her die-hard supporters, the ones who cheered her double-doubles all season, were shaking their heads. "Angel, why?" became the refrain across X and TikTok. It wasn't just the haters piling on, it was the people who'd rooted for her, now cringing at the sight. The vibe shifted from "she's killing it" to "she's lost it" in record time, and what happened next would shock everyone.
Into consideration, that means you're mindful of the imagery and the perception that you're assisting in creating about yourself. Number two, she was seen doing various interviews and what have you, talking about threats, talking about insults, crying about how people were coming at her with such venom and hostility, particularly in her last year at LSU, before she ultimately graduated. Here's what I have a problem with, Tori. Angel Reese, in doing the things that she has done, let's face reality. She's going to be attached to Caitlin Clark to some degree. If Angel Reese had never waved her hand in her face when LSU was beating Iowa for in the Final Four of the national championship, if that hadn't happened, Angel Reese's name might not be as big.
Reese didn't just weather the storm, she bailed. Her Instagram, that 5 million follower empire she'd built, went dark. Poof. Account deleted. No cryptic caption, no "I'll be back" tease. Just gone. For a player who'd thrived on social media, turning it into a goldmine of endorsements, this was a seismic move. Was it shame? Pressure? A desperate attempt to hit reset? Whatever it was, pulling the plug signaled something loud and clear. The heat was too much. But that wasn't the whole story.
Caitlin Clark, the reason I bring up Caitlin Clark is because they're attached at the hip with one another, which means they're ultimately going to be compared, Tori. And when you look at Caitlin Clark is balling. She's a rookie of the year. She was one of the finalists for the league MVP honors as a rookie. breaking all types of records. She should have been on Team USA. She didn't choose to play in an unrivaled league. Her brand building has been incredibly impressive.
Well, we have to remember one thing. She's not Caitlin Clark. And we can't ask her to be anyone else besides herself. And especially not right here. We're not.
Enter Stephen A. Smith, the voice of sports hot takes, who didn't waste a second weighing in. He went full-on disappointed dad mode, and it was brutal. You can't complain about being objectified later on when you put that out there. He fired off, calling out what he saw as straight-up hypocrisy. Ouch. Smith wasn't here to coddle, he was here to dissect. He pointed to Reese's smarts, her knack for building a brand, and asked why she'd risk it all for a cheap thrill. His words weren't just a jab, they were a warning shot, and he wasn't done yet.
But what's not debatable is the fact that Caitlin Clark has handled her branding extremely well. Whereas with Angel Reese, sometimes you find yourself scratching your head and wondering what the hell she's doing. Like that photo right there.
Then came the comparison no one could ignore. Caitlin Clark. Smith held her up like a shining trophy, Rookie of the Year, MVP finalist, a brand so spotless it gleams. Clark's out there building an empire, he said, while Reese has us scratching our heads. It's the kind of contrast that stings, especially since Reese and Clark have been tied together since that LSU-Iowa showdown. Clark's killing it with class, racking up wins and respect, while Reese's latest move feels like a self-inflicted foul. Fair or not, that spotlight's only getting brighter and harsher.
Especially when the comparison is going to be drawn to Caitlin Clark, who isn't doing such things. That might not be fair. I'm not saying it is. And you certainly have the right to dress how you want and to do what you want and to live your life. But people have a right to have their opinions about what you put on display. And if they don't like it and they believe that it's not the right thing for you to be doing when you talk about building your brand, I don't know how you can argue that.
Here's where it gets real. This isn't just about a dress or a deleted account. It's about Reese's future. She's got Reebok, Beats, and Amazon in her corner. Deals worth a cool $1.8 million by some estimates. But brands don't love drama. Look at Kyrie Irving. His off-court chaos cost him millions in endorsements. Could Reese be next? WNBA teams are watching too. Her rookie contract's ticking. And if GMS starts seeing her as a liability instead of a star, that next deal might not be so sweet. One viral misstep and the stakes just skyrocketed.
You have to be cognizant that no matter how you step out of your house, you are now Angel Reese. And you will always be picked apart, unfortunately. It comes with the crown. You're a queen. You're beautiful. You know? So you just have to remember that if you aren't ready for the scrutiny, if you're not ready for the heat, then you just got to be mindful that what comes with it. You have to be mindful with what comes with it.
I made it to the pros. She brought up all of these things, which means she was aware of it. And if you're aware of it, you have to understand that that's going to be part of the judgment that comes against you, fair or unfair. That's what I'm saying, Tori.
Rumors are already swirling and they're not pretty. By April 2025, whispers on X and sports blogs hint that teams and sponsors might be cooling on Reese. Her outspoken rants about WNBA salaries, remember her 50K need that jab after Unrivaled, didn't help. Neither did that viral clip of her missing layups in the off-season league with fans piling on about her skills. Add this New Year's fiasco and some insiders wonder if she's alienating the very people who could lift her career. It's a messy pileup of controversies, and she's smack in the middle.
Because they don't see her as someone that's marketable. Because
neither do I.
And that's the pain that I had for her in this. But I want her to know, if she's listening, we're excited to still see you. Bring back that beautiful Instagram page and just learn from it.
You know what's wild? Reese had a massive 5 million followers on Instagram before she went dark. That's a whole lot of eyeballs and potential influence. Gone in the blink of an eye. But wait, there's more. Let's talk long-term effects. Will WNBA teams think twice next time Reese's contract is up for renewal? That's the million-dollar question. Remember?
Step back for a second though, she's only 22. Reese is young, thrust into a fame machine that chews up and spits out talent daily. The pressure is insane. Be a star, be perfect, be marketable, all while figuring out who you are. Some say she's missing the right crew, advisors who'd steer her clear of these traps. Without that, she's navigating blind, and it shows. From her tearful LSU exit interviews to this latest blow-up, she's been vocal about the hate she's faced. But knowing it's coming doesn't mean she's ready to handle it, and that's the raw truth.
Kids right now are also not able to see 40 years from now. You know, you post that photo, you're not thinking, what's this gonna do to me 40 years from now? You know, think about that. You know, when you post this, what's gonna happen to my sponsorship? And my last thing is, if you're a young member of society today and you have social media and you are big time, just remember that you need to have advisors around you. Paid advisors, as well as people who knew you before your fame.
That's great advice.
Because
that's great advice. The bosses are always watching. Whether directly or indirectly, there's always eyes on you, okay? And so you could be in a nice dress, you could be on a red carpet, you could be on the beach on vacation or whatever. What you post is what they're paying attention to because they're trying to measure what your intentions are based off of what they see.
So what's the end game here? Reese is at a crossroads. Does she want to be the player who dominates headlines for her game, or the one who's forever linked to drama? Clark's out there proving you don't need scandal to shine. She's got the talent, the work ethic, and a level head that's winning over kids and execs alike. Reese, though, she's got the skills, led the WNBA in rebounds as a rookie, but her off-court antics are drowning them out. It's her call. Build a legacy on the hardwood or let the gossip define her.
We understand that everybody's got their own taste, their own flavor, and certainly their own rights. But there are other people that's going to exercise their rights to be ultra critical about it. And then I'm not even talking about the outfit that Angel Reese has worn. I'm talking about the overall pressure of having to be compared as a brand to somebody who's conducting their branding with near perfection. That's what I'm saying. She's going to have to deal with that, Tori, whether she likes it or not.
In sports, how you handle fame matters.
Here's the kicker. This could go either way. Reese might bounce back, silence the noise, and let her game do the talking, turning this mess into a redemption arc for the ages. Or she could double down, chasing likes over wins, and fade into a cautionary tale whispered in locker rooms. The clock's ticking, and every eye in the sports world is on her. Can she flip the script, or is this the moment we'll look back on as the start of her slide? Tell me what you think, because Angel Reese's next move might just change everything.